freight train, locomotive, space brain, truckload of cocaine up his nose. There's a watchdog riding with a space frog, drowning in the thick fog. What's he doing?
Welcome to a very special edition of Austin After Dark Radio. I'm your host, Patrick Davis. And in the studio with me today, I have the one, the only, the former owner of Steamboat, a man who's changed the Austin music landscape in his time, Mr. Danny Crooks. How you doing, Danny?
I'm great.
Danny's going to be hosting the Steamboat Reunion May 20th down at Threadgills. He does it every year. It's always a super fun party. But I wanted to bring him in because Danny's one of those guys that always has a story to tell. And so it's really fun to have him on a live microphone because we get to hear all these great stories about all these great bands. And we're also going to listen to some of the bands that are going to be playing on the 20th. So Danny, tell me about how you got started in music and got into the music industry.
I started in 1975 at a place called the Silver Dollar on Burnett Road in 183. Very big place, had about 5,000 people and have Loretta Lynn and, all the big country acts would play. But I also got to meet like Sammy Allred and, some of the people that were what Austin still is. And then in 78, I got my first bar that I owned and booked the bands. And it was called The Front Page on Ben White, where the South 40 was up until here recently. And there I started booking the bands, a lot of them that played Steamboat too, and they're older, Marcia Ball and Alvin Crow and Johnny Bush and people like that I was able to stay into the Austin music scene and just kind of worked around.
So what happened to lead you to actually open Steamboat?
Well, I didn't open Steamboat. Steamboat was opened before me. A guy named Hank Vick. Steamboat started out on Burnett Road, where the Dallas nightclub's at right now. It was called Steamboat Springs then. It opened up in 76 or something like 75, 76. I was working at the time, coincidentally, and my life runs into each other so many times, but at the time, that's when I was working at the Silver Dollar. And the Silver Dollar would close at 1, and Steamboat Springs stayed open until 2, so we would hurry up and get out of the Silver Dollar and try to get to Steamboat Springs, and the rock and roll girls were much cooler than the country girls. And so I would hang out there, and then, years later I ended up owning the place. But Hank opened it up there, and he moved it to 6th Street in 78. And Hank was a visionary for what 6th Street and the Austin entertainment area became. He told David Cotton, and David Cotton worked at Steamboat from 1977 till it closed in 1999. Only job he ever had at the time. But Hank told David then, this is going to be the entertainment area in this town. This is where he was kind of like the guy from Vegas, Bugsy Siegel.
Yeah.
This is going to be where the gambling goes. And at that time, there was, I think, Maggie Mays and the Ritz maybe, and there weren't very many places. Most of the places down there were empty. And he put Steamboat, and he dropped the springs off of it and opened it up to Steamboat. The first band to play was Christopher Cross. They played at the Steamboat Springs place on Burnett Road, mainly cover stuff. And Tommy Taylor was the first drummer to play at Steamboat on the stage on 6th Street. But the first band to play was Christopher Cross. He also was the first person to play acoustically.
When you first started, you first took over Steamboat, what do you think it would become? In your head, where'd you go, I'm going to take this place here?
To what it was when it closed. It was a dream, and it happened. It just fell into place. Sometimes in life, you're lucky enough to be able to picture something and make it actually come to fruition. And I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted it to be. I knew what it should be. Steamboat it still is to me. It was part of Austin's history. It was a special, special place, and most of the really great musicians in this town came from that little club. And Steamboat was lucky that we got to pick the best bands, or the best bands wanted to play there. We had a great stage and great lights and great sound, and our employees were musicians, and we'd been there forever. And we smoked a lot of weed, and that was just what we did at Steamboat. So we were able to have people that would keep coming back, and a lot of touring acts like Sister Hazel and Leftover Salmon and Dick Dale, and there were a lot of bands that the only place they wanted to play was Steamboat, and so they would come and play 2 or 3 nights in a row. Or at one time Ian Moore did 5 nights in a row. We called it 5 More Nights. I think Eric Johnson did 6 or 7 in a row one time. We just kept putting them up for sale until they didn't sell out anymore, and then we said, all right, now it's time to stop. But I think it was like after the 7th show, and it still almost sold out, but it was just, that was how we would do things. If it was clicking, keep it up.
All right, well, let's play a song from one of the bands playing on the 20th.
All right.
We'll start with the first band, Crate a Monster. Now, we know this is the Podunk guys, Jason Touche and Paul Sorosky. You got any Podunk stories for me?
Not really. I mean, they're good friends, and they played a lot, but Podunk was one of them bands, I think, that were a little bit afraid of me. Most people weren't, but because they never really had a residency, they just did like Fridays and Saturdays, occasionally and whatever, so they didn't know me as well as, and I think they were maybe a little intimidated. A lot of people were for some reason, don't know why, but they were always on their best behavior.
I think those guys are just always naturally on their best behavior.
Yeah, I've never seen them when they weren't. Paul's always the sweetest guy, and Jason. But can they rock, man? They're just amazing.
All right, well, we're going to play this one. This one's called Shine. It's from Crate a Monster. They're opening up on the 20th. Threadgills.
Well, they're not really. I just got a call yesterday from Guy Forsyth, and he has to leave early. So Guy Forsyth is actually going to go on at 2 now, and Create a Monster is going to go on at 3.
All right. Well, here's some Crate a Monster right here on Austin After Dark Radio.
Shine.